What do bodily injuries have to do with starting out at a brand new church? My name's Ronald Long. This is a Youth Ministry Insider, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I don't know about you, but I've got kids. And over the years, my kids have injured themselves in a variety of ways. So much so that I actually keep a box of Bandaids in my car so that whenever we go somewhere, I have a small first aid kit that I can be able to bandage them up if necessary. And like you would know, if you have something like a small cut on your thumb or your finger or a scrape on your knee, it probably hurts. It's something that you want to take care of, but with some ointment and a Band-Aid, in a little bit of time, you're gonna be fine. Unlike a broken bone, my kids have broken so many bones. I, at this point, am expecting CPS to come to my house and just knock on the door because we've been to the emergency room way too often. But I've even broken a bone before. I broke my leg, and it's a really long, arduous healing process. It's not any fun. You got to get the whole cast thing, you have to take care of it a very certain way, and honestly, it's a long issue, but it's usually pretty darn obvious. Everyone can see that you have broken something important. In fact, when somebody shows up at your church with a cast or a sling or on crutches, the first thing you normally ask is, "Oh no, what happened?" And then there's another type of injury, one that I really hadn't considered. Again, because my children like to injure themselves, one of them recently bruised a rib. I don't know if you have ever bruised a rib, but I certainly haven't before. And so this was a new experience for us. When it happened, they were able to get up and walk around and be okay, but you could tell something was wrong even though they were able to function, right? And so after a day or two taking meds, ice pack, heating pads, the whole business, even calling the nurse, they said, "Yeah, why don't you go ahead and bring them in?" We had to do an x-ray to make sure nothing was broken. We had to check that, you can move everything. And the doctor basically said, "Okay, here's what the deal is. You have bruised a rib. It's going to take about 6 to 8 weeks to heal. As long or longer than your broken bone might heal up." The issue is nobody can see it, right? It's not something that you can be very obvious that it's happened. And my kid would kind of wince every now and then and notice ow, that hurt right there when I did this specific thing. But unlike a cast on a broken bone, you can't really see that it's an issue, even though it might be as big or bigger of an issue than having a broken bone. What's all of this got to do with church and you as a youth pastor starting out brand new? Well, that's what I want to talk about, are these three things right here. If you're starting out in your youth ministry, more than likely you're getting hired on in order to fix some problems. That problem might just be, we loved our last youth pastor, they were amazing, they moved on to a different season, and now you are here. Even if you come in at the best circumstances, the ministry is going to have some of these issues that need to get resolved. They're going to need some Band-Aids, they're going to need some casts, and they might even have some broken ribs. So, here's what's going on. Band-Aid issues will be things like, oh no, the youth ministry has games. Maybe they play too many games. Maybe they play not enough games. And basically, hey, we're trying to figure out how much fun should we have here. People want to know, okay, should we have a worship ministry? Should we have teens leading in worship at any point? Or are the Band-Aids just, we've got some teenagers and they're running around like crazy and we kind of want you to do something about it? These are Band-Aid issues. And then you have broken arms, things that are really bad that are obvious. Maybe you're coming into a youth ministry as the first youth pastor because there are no teenagers involved in the ministry whatsoever. That's a bad thing, right? And it's your job to get teenagers involved immediately. Or maybe there have been teenagers involved at the church, but there's no Bible teaching. Or maybe it's just been really, really lackluster, and that's obvious. Or maybe there's just no opportunity for communities. Students don't have a place to hang out. Students don't have a place to be. They don't feel like they're connected to the church at large. These are broken arm issues, big problems. It's very obvious that they need to get fixed. But then there's bruised ribs. Things that may not be obvious at first, but are really big problems that will show themselves over time. Things like a really bad volunteer turnover. Maybe that's not something that would be obvious at first, but if a youth ministry can't retain volunteers, that shows a deeper issue going on. Maybe there's a lack of communication between parents and the church at large. Again, not necessarily something that might be able to see at the beginning, but will lead to bigger issues down the road. Or maybe there's just no parent support whatsoever. Like parents just come in and drop off their kids and leave. All of these things are issues. And if you are starting out as the new youth pastor at this church, you might be able to identify the Bandaids, the broken arms, and the bruised ribs pretty soon. Or they might even get told to you in the interview process. And so you're asking yourself, all right, how do I tackle these? And which do I take care of first? So here's my suggestion to you. When you're looking at these things, you're going to see, okay, these are big issues. People are going to want you to tackle the broken arms, right? Because those are the big issues that they see and everyone at the church can know. Do we have no teenagers involved? Or did we used to have, say, 20 on a regular basis? Now we have 5. They're going to want you to fix those broken arms. And you have to explain to them that broken arms take time to heal. It's going to take you time in order to fix these issues. And you'll be able to fix the Band-Aid issues pretty quickly. Do people at your church think that you play too many games, the youth ministry has too much fun? Well, you can dial it down pretty quickly and say, hey, look, we put a Band-Aid on this. Do the church at large think the teenagers are running around like crazy and just being teenagers? Well, you being present might give them a chance to, settle down a little bit, and you just being there, like making efforts on those teenagers, might be the Band-Aid solution that they're looking for. The issue is, not a lot of people are going to see these bruised ribs that you will be able to see right away and that you need to fix. So let's talk about it. Band-Aids. These are short-term wins, things that you can do fairly easily. List out the things in a column. Put them into 3 columns of Band-Aids and then broken arms and bruised ribs. Once you put out all your Band-Aids, your short-term wins that you can fix easily, prioritize them. See which ones need fixing first. Maybe you don't fix all of them at once. Maybe you just kind of fix a few of them at a time. But now that you've listed them out, you can see which need to be fixed now and which maybe can wait until a little bit later, especially if too much change is going to be really giving your students a hard time. Broken arms, though, you got to take care of those first. These are issues that you need to have leadership involved and you need to share your plan. Like I said, if there were 20 students, but now there are only 5, you need to come in with a solution in order to fix these problems. Get your leadership involved and share with them your plan. How are you going to fix these broken arms? The big problems that everybody sees and everybody is aware of. Make sure your leadership is involved. Have your senior pastor or your boss sign off on your plan in order to put this cast on, because they're going to know, all right, we see the problem and our pastor has a solution. But then there's your bruised ribs. These are going to be long-term projects. If you have a bad issue with volunteer turnover, that's going to take some time to fix. Just like having no parents involved whatsoever, You might start with getting one couple involved, or one great mom or fantastic dad stepping in and being involved in the ministry, but it's going to take some time to solve these projects. Your leadership needs to be involved here too. These bruised rib issues might even be things that your leadership doesn't know needs fixing yet. Bringing them in on this will show them that you are a youth pastor who can see deeper issues and can help fix them. And the great news is, when you are dealing with bruised rib issues, you're building some serious leadership capital. You are identifying problems other people might not even be aware of and sharing solutions on how to fix them. Doing that shows that you aren't just the babysitter, but you are the pastor to students who is going to come and offer big solutions. I hope that's helpful to you, to be able to categorize the problems that need to be fixed in the ministry that you're just starting out in. Remember, make those 3 columns: Bandaids, broken arms, bruised ribs, and think about how you can prioritize what needs to be fixed right now, what can be fixed along the road, and what long-term problems need fixing but are just going to take time in order to get there. My name is Ronald Long. I am happy to be a part of the Youth Ministry Insider, and I hope this has been helpful to you. Do me a favor. If you have questions or comments or just anything that you want to bring up, put a comment down below just to let me know that you're watching, you're involved, you know what's going on. I would love to answer any questions that you have. And if you could do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, do the internet things, I'd greatly appreciate that too. I hope to hear from you soon. Stay strong out there, Youth Pastor.